Does a compassionate heart belong in a mature body? Does wisdom come with age? Many believe so, but I disagree. When I see the youths engaging in something which is something that inspires us older people, I want to meet with them, I want to connect with them, and I want to know what drives them. And also, talking to the youth keeps me young. On that note, I'd like you to meet my guest today. But before I introduce, I want to welcome you all to OATs-Orator Academy Talks, where I like to bring people who are everyday people, but doing phenomenal things and inspiring the world around them. And these people can make impact. So we need to know, we need to rub shoulders with them, and we need to take inspiration from them. So on that note, welcome Aman Patil. Aman, welcome to OATs.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So a little introduction about you, Aman. You are a rising junior at Washington University.
I'm a finance and computer science major. I'm originally from Livingston, New Jersey, hoping to enter the business world once I graduate in May. Whatever that world may look like remains to be seen, and unfortunately is out of your and my hands. But some of the things I'm really passionate about is, if you could see right here, my baseball jersey. I love baseball, big New York Yankees fan. So hoping that relatively soon some sports will come back into my life and I could start watching some baseball again.
I hope so too. You've been really good in sports. I believe your cleats were hung at your school fence or something of that sort?
Something along the lines of that. And I happened to be very lucky to score one of the winning goals in the state championship. So we didn't hang it up. We actually just buried the shoe because it was also pretty broken shoe. Like, my toes were sticking out through the end. So it was done. It had seen better days. So might as well leave it at a place with some good memories attached to.
So who came up with that idea to bury the cleat?
I don't even know where we came up with the idea. We were
That's not a tradition. You just
No. It was never not a tradition at all. We were just we had won the trophy and we were just not hanging out, but we were just celebrating amongst the team. And we used to call it the lucky cleat anyways because it was such a bad. It looked disgusting. I mean, you could actually see my toes. Someone came up with the idea that we should just bury it right then and there. And for some reason, as like 15, 18-year-old and 17-year-old boys do, we said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So we decided to do it. So maybe one day we'll go back and dig it up.
Or maybe with your children one day you'll take them on a field trip.
Maybe. We'll see about that. That remains to be seen.
That will be quite a cute story to tell.
Yes.
But I want to talk about your very recent initiative that really stuck out in my mind because it was very amusing, by the way. I mean, everybody's trying to do something to give back to the community, for the frontline workers, for the people who are in need, who are suffering right now. But the way you approached it was so comical and so endearing. I wanted to showcase that.
So a few weeks ago, I just turned 21 on April 25th. So it was my 21st birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Just like many, had a fantastic quarantine birthday with me, my parents, and my dog. What a fantastic time. But what I kind of decided to do was try to use my birthday as a kind of a spearheading moment for an event that could help the community. And what that kind of was is I was just perusing the web and I found out that there were many food banks in my local area that were looking for food and donations. So I kind of thought that it would be a perfect idea to host a food drive at my house on my birthday so I could see people and then donate that food to one of these food banks. So it kind of was a marriage of convenience. I thought it'd be a perfect idea for people to be able to donate food and for people to communicate with one another, because I hadn't seen any of my friends in over a month, while at the same time, getting to do something positive for the community. So it kind of came out to be a perfect storm in the sense that it kind of hit two birds with one stone.
Definitely. So what caught my attention first was your video on Facebook with your full mustache.
Yes. So I, like many others, thought this was a perfect chance. No repercussions whatsoever. So I decided to grow out the mustache and beard. And I mean, you saw the video. By the time I got to around my birthday, it was a full mustache. And I thought this would be a perfect way to kind of get people involved. Not since I haven't been, I haven't seen people haven't seen my mustache. I thought one, it'd be a funny way to get people to see what I look like, but at the same time, get people involved and, want to see me do something funny, because I think that was a good way to get people involved. And it didn't help, or it didn't hurt rather, that my mom really hated the mustache and she wanted it to go. So what I did was I kind of, on my original Facebook post, I said, if somebody wanted to donate $100, I'd shave off the mustache completely. And if someone donated $200, I'd shave off half. What I didn't realize is that, a lot of people wanted me to keep the mustache. A lot of people wanted me to get rid of the mustache. So there were a lot of donations flying out. So eventually what I did was I shaved half the mustache, which was a look in and of itself. But that also eventually had to go, but all to a good cause.
That's a whole new way of doing a fundraiser. I've never thought of that. I donated my hair 2 years ago. And why didn't I think of this drama?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good.
So I think what the good thing was that the goal of this entire drama was very purposeful. At the same time, you deployed your social contact, your social network, throwing in a little bit of humor, which is much needed in today's time, where everybody is sometimes losing hope.
Yep.
So you get distracted. This was a wonderful distraction and served very well. I believe you raised about $5,300.
Yeah, $5,300. Still some checks are coming in. So, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, my original goal was $1,000, and we surpassed that in like about 2 or 3 hours. So it kind of, blew all of my wildest expectations. So it was fantastic, the results.
So I think it'll go down in history as one of the most phenomenal 21st birthdays.
It definitely was. One, obviously raising that amount of money and the food that we collected too, which is also extremely important.
Right.
But also seeing the amount of people in the community that were willing to help and support was fantastic. I mean, obviously there were some of my close family and friends who, I kind of had the idea that they would support anyways, because that's, what friends and family do.
Absolutely.
But in terms of the broader scope, I mean, I had people donating from my college, people who are all the way across the world in China and Singapore who donated, as well as people who live in Livingston in my local community that I hadn't spoken to since I went to 5th grade with them, or I was in 5th grade with them. They were sharing my post, donating. So in terms of that, I mean, that was the most amazing part. The amount of outreach and the amount of, influx of people that were reaching out was really fantastic and really nice to see as well.
Right. And I believe you sat at the top of your driveway 2 consecutive days.
Yes. So I started, so my birthday happened to fall on a weekend. So I decided to sit starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the top of my driveway with a sign, stating that I was helping raise money and collecting food for this food bank. Anything was appreciated. And yeah, so I sat out there. Unfortunately, Friday and Sunday were really rainy days. So it was kind of a pain to be sitting out there. But Saturday was beautiful, which was fantastic because a lot of people came by. But it was great. I mean, people were just walking their dogs and, going on their daily walk, which all of us do in quarantine. And they happened to see the sign. And, one person told the next person who told the other people on their street. So a lot of people just donated by word of mouth, by me sitting on my sidewalk. And I guess, I'd rather sit on my sidewalk and outside than on my couch at home, right? So it wasn't the worst thing.
And while we are hearing of so many people who are missing out on celebrations, missing out on these milestones, they are not walking the walk for their diploma ceremony. They will not have a commencement address that they'll be attending. So there's an immense sense of loss for high schoolers, even for children who are graduating 5th grade. They're going to miss out on their clap out. But, when we're really talking about all those things that we are missing out on, it's nice to hear of a story like this where you've actually turned it around. You are home, you are away from your friends. You couldn't party like a regular 21st birthday party, but you made a whole celebration out of it, which will be much more impactful for many people at this time.
Yeah.
So, I strongly believe that when life gives you lemons, you've got to make the best lemonade possible. Or for a 21st birthday, make a margarita.
We'll see. We'll see. We're learning about that right now. We'll see.
No, but I think your heart is in the right place. And what drew me to your videos, and I kept following them then, and every time I watched the videos, I laughed, because the ingenuity, the confidence, and the sense of humor, that lightheartedness that is much lacking around us right now, was so refreshing.
Thank you.
This was another way of communicating your goal to people. So you thought out of the box, just because of the entire drama that you pulled with the half mustache and the full mustache and then eventually no mustache. It drew so much attention. So no publicity is bad publicity, I gather.
It's not. I guess not.
And you raised so much money.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, your goal was 1,000. I'm guessing you may have still crossed it in any case. You may have raised about 2 or 3, but 5 and still counting.
Yeah.
Is quite commendable. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what does Aman do otherwise? What is Aman's interest and passion?
Yeah. So otherwise, like I mentioned, I'm a big baseball and sports fanatic, but I'm also super interested in fintech. I've had the opportunity to intern at a fintech investment bank last summer, something that I'm looking to join or, get involved in once I graduate. So that's something I'm super interested in, kind of fits in with my major and minor, business and computer science. But outside of the academics, I'm also a big buff in terms of travel. I get that from my parents. I love going and seeing new places, embarking and spending time in new cultures. I had the opportunity to be studying in Spain, in Barcelona, before all of this COVID-19 outbreak occurred. I was actually there in March, and was rushed back to the States during all this. So that's one of my big passions. And, once this all opens up again and, after I graduate, maybe I'll have the chance to, to return to some places and do some travel that I didn't get a chance to do.
I believe so. I believe you learn the most when you actually travel to the place.
Yes.
Books will tell you one thing, but the sights and the sounds and the smells, that education is a whole different level. What are your hobbies besides sports and besides traveling? I think you sing too.
Yes. So I like singing. I've had some great training. So I sang throughout middle school and high school. I did both choir at school, so traditional English choir and pop, but I also did Indian classical singing, which was, a lot of fun and very interesting, especially when, I'm not a native speaker of Hindi. So that was really interesting when sometimes you're singing songs and words that you don't even know what they mean. So that was a good experience for me. It was also we're talking about learning language, a very interesting and different way of learning language through song and through music, getting a chance to connect and understand what's going on in a totally different environment.
I totally agree. Because even if you're singing songs in the language that you don't understand 100% of what it means, you can still emote just by the feeling of the vibration of
exactly
that word. And I think that applies to any language. And that's why we listen to the opera. You may not understand a single word. You enjoy listening to the opera. And because music has really no language, it's the vibration. What you say matters. I believe what you say matters a lot, but how you say it sometimes matters much more.
Sure. Agreed.
So I started the series of doing these talks because I felt that we need to connect and reach out more, because talking it out helps.
Of course.
You agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, especially now when we're all stuck, relatively stuck at home, when we're not, near one another and can't see each other physically. Especially now when we could get on things like Zoom, it's still great to be able to see people. And, like you mentioned in the beginning, there's a lot of people out there who are doing amazing things. Unfortunately, for better or for worse, we just can't see it physically right now. But there's a lot of hope and a lot of great ideas and a lot of, even better people out there. So it's important to, hear their stories. Is that also, sometimes when we have these ideas, we think it has to be something really bold and outrageous and something out of the box. There's nothing wrong with doing something super simple, because those super simple ideas can have, if not even greater impact than some of these, extraordinary and, first in their kind ideas. And it's also important to, look at the people around you, the people that you look at every day, the people you live with, the people you interact with. Sometimes you may not want to work with those people, but those are the people that can provide the greatest help and the greatest support, like in my case.
Absolutely. And reach out to your friends and family and loved ones near and far. Make sure that they are okay. Keep them busy, because that's all they can do right now is talk.
Exactly.
Keep everyone occupied, and they'll be happy to hear from you. So check on them, video calls or audio calls, connect, because talking it out helps. Thank you, Aman. Thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate all your endeavors and the kindness of your heart immensely, and the humor. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being you. Love you.